Mr. Pitroda, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've been waiting very patiently, so we do really appreciate that you've taken out your time to speak to us. This is, in fact, the first time that Mr. Sam Pitroda is joining an event like this, a conclave. So once again, I thank you for your time and your patience. I want to, of course, begin by asking you, Mr. Pitroda, there is a lot of chatter about democracy. There are many people who wish to define it, who wish to redefine it, who want to, of course, understand what democracy means in the 21st century. But you've written recently a book called The Idea of Democracy. If you can share a little bit with our viewers, what prompted you to write this book and what is it that one can find in it?
First of all, thank you for the opportunity. Greetings from Chicago. It is indeed a special honor and privilege for me to be with you. I would like to begin by saying that 2024 happens to be an important in 2024. Something like this hasn't happened at all. And many countries are going through very difficult time in democracy. And as a result, I felt it is important to remind ourselves that democracy world over is in decline, danger, and we need to revisit the idea of democracy. Partly because of authoritarian mindset, polarized politics, and social media has created this environment where we have really lost values, character, moral, and too much attention has been given to power and profits.
Okay.
As opposed to planet and people. And that's why I decided to write this book. Going back to your question, democracy means different things to different people.
Yes.
It is not about elections or voting, but ultimately it is about three things to me. One, institutional autonomy. In democracy, you don't expect command and control, but you expect collaboration, cooperation, communication, co-creation. And for that to happen, large number of people have to participate.
Yes.
You need conversation and not have one man or a small group of people deciding on what is good for the entire society. So first is the institutions in the country have to be autonomous.
Mr.
Whether
Pitroda,
it is judiciary
yes,
or universities, they all need to have their own way of functioning irrespective of political pressure. Two,
okay,
you need dynamic civil society that works more as watchdog, catalyst. And three, media that has to be free, fair, open, transparent. If you don't have these three things, I worry about the progress in democracy.
Okay, Ms. Pitroda, I want to understand from you. Now, you've touched upon certain themes about what your book talks about. You're talking about an authoritarian regime. Is it fair to call the popular mandate equated to an authoritarian regime? Is that a fair analysis?
It depends on what you call popular mandate. If you got elected by 51%, doesn't mean that you serve the interests of 51%. Once elected, you are a leader of a nation and not leader of a party. So you have a moral responsibility to worry about remaining 49%. Just because one group of people elected you as the head of the state does not give you license to only serve their interest.
But Mr.
That's what
Pitroda,
democracy is all about.
okay, if we were to talk strictly about India, when you say that a certain group of people voted a certain political party into power, but that does not mean that that party should only look after the interests of that certain group of people. That's not happened in India. The government of India has given enough data to prove that whatever they're doing in terms of their policies, none of it is focused on giving it to people of certain religions or castes or creeds or genders. So why is it that the government of India should be labeled as an authoritarian regime?
It is your view. I respect your view. My view is very different. My view is there enough conversation and debate in the parliament? Is there enough freedom given to judiciary, civil society? Are they being harassed through income tax? Are they being harassed in courts? So it all depends on where you are coming from.
But I also want to understand...
We all have our views in democracy. You may think one way, I may think other way.
All right,
you got to respect my view as I respect your view.
Yes, talking about then a conversation in Parliament, it is in fact we have seen, and once again, this is not my view, this is what has happened. We've seen in Parliament that it is the opposition that continues to disrupt. A lot of people have raised this question that when leaders of opposition are speaking, the BJP does listen quietly, intently. Their ministers, including the Prime Minister, will also listen to opposition leaders. But the moment the Prime Minister starts speaking, we see complete chaos in the Parliament. So how can conversation take place? It's a two-way street. So why blame the government and call the government authoritarian?
So the Prime Minister has to figure it out. It is Prime Minister's job to figure it out. It's not my job.
Yes, absolutely. But I'm asking that the Prime Minister can't teach manners to our parliamentarians, can he?
I think you are wrong in saying that other people don't have manners. Who are you representing there? You got to have some decency too by saying that other people don't have manners. It's not fair for you to say that other people don't have manners.
No, I'm saying you said that it depends, that the Prime Minister needs to come up with a solution. So I want to understand what is the solution.
People don't have manners. Prime Minister can't teach manners to others.
It comes from your suggestion, sir. You said that the Prime Minister needs to come up with a solution on how to get everyone to sit in the Parliament and have a conversation. How does the Prime Minister do that?
I understand, but when you said, should Prime Minister show other people manners, what you are implying is that other peoples don't have manners. I didn't say that. You said it.
Yes, I'm not saying you said it. I'm saying it's coming from your point that it's upon the Prime Minister. Like I said, it's a two-way street. What would you suggest that the Prime Minister does?
So Parliament and Prime Minister has to figure it out. It is between them, not for me to say.
Okay, all right. I also want to understand from you, Mr. Pitroda, as far as the elections are concerned of 2024, when you look back, what do you think were the hits and the misses as far as the Congress's campaign was concerned? What were the successes and what are the mistakes that the Congress party wants to now learn from?
I will not comment on it. That is not my job. Okay. And definitely my views are private, personal on these things. I'm here to talk more about democracy than about what Congress party did right or wrong.
All right. Understandably so. I also want to understand from you then, sir, certain comments were made by you which became a political issue in the country. Now that the elections are over, do you stand by certain suggestions that you had made?
Absolutely. I did not say anything wrong. I stand by what I said. It is unfortunate that the Prime Minister of the country decided to troll. Let's take one by one. First comment was about inheritance tax. I never said that there should be inheritance tax in India. All I said is there is inheritance tax in America. We need to learn to raise resources for equitable distribution of wealth.
Okay.
This is one example. That does not mean I'm advocating. That does not mean it is a policy of the government. But when Prime Minister takes that idea, ask all his ministers to comment. To me, it's a troll. Okay, just go check it. I'm intelligent enough. Okay, I don't need input from somebody else. I'm 82-year-old. I've done enough of this. So it was a comment completely taken out of context.
Okay.
Item number 2. Okay. You look at what I said about how different people are in India. And I made a comment that people in East look like Chinese, people in South look like Africa, people in whatever. Maybe I didn't realize that people think looking like Africa is bad. To me, it's not bad. I'm a dark person. I take great pride in it. Okay. So if somebody is hurt, I apologize. But the goal was not to really call anybody anything. That comment remained in media for 10 days. 10 days.
Yes.
Nobody said a word. After 10 days, Prime Minister of India decides to pick that comment and it begins trolling. And for 24 hours on national TV, it is what Sam Pitroda said. Why didn't anybody think about it for 10 days? This is what media does. This is what Prime Minister does. Okay? And that's where I have a problem.
But the Prime Minister has...
Then you all label.
But Mr. Pitroda, you say that there is no freedom of speech in this country. Now the Prime Minister is exercising his freedom of speech by picking up a comment that you made.
Hold on. Just stop right there. Did I say that there is no freedom of speech? Did I say that? Why are you trying to make something out of nothing?
No, I'm truly not, sir. I was hoping that this platform would allow you a chance to perhaps clarify whether you stand by those comments, and you say that you do stand by them because you feel you said nothing wrong, and that's fair enough.
No. Hold on. I said there is no freedom of speech. Did I ever say that?
No. I'm saying that when the Prime Minister decides to exercise his freedom of speech, then we say that this is what the Prime Minister does or this is what media does. Why tarnish the image of the media all the time? The media did not ask the Congress party to boycott it.
No. Forget about Congress party. We are talking about Sam Pitroda right now, okay? You said just about a minute ago that I said there is no freedom of speech. I never said that.
I didn't say you said it, sir. I said there is a narrative that goes around that there is no freedom of speech, that media is under threat. And in fact, you just 2 minutes back said that judiciary needs to be free, media needs to be free. How much more freedom can there be when the media exercises its freedom by picking up comments made by leaders who are associated with different political parties? It's not just your comments that are picked up. Across political lines, comments are picked up. Then everyone starts saying that the media is biased. It's really today frustrating then to be a part of the media. Honestly.
I respect your view. All I'm saying is you just said 2 minutes ago, go check your voice, that you, Mr. Pitroda, said there is no freedom of speech. Mr. Pitroda never said there is no freedom of speech.
Okay. I want to understand one thing, Mr. Pitroda. Is Mr. Pitroda a separate entity from the Congress party entirely?
Of course, I'm a Congress party member as well as I'm a separate entity. I'm both. I can't be one.
But what you say must be taken as strictly your personal view.
I'm also engineer. No, I speak for multiple, personalities. I speak for myself.
So, would you allow me a question in your role as the Overseas Congress President? Would you allow me to ask you a question from that perspective?
Of course I will. Sure.
All right. From that, I'd like to understand that much of your work is about spreading the message of the Congress party abroad and, of course, about the Gandhian ideology. We really would like to understand what really is that ideology. Does the Congress party also have a vision for 2047?
Yes. What I do as head of the Indian Overseas Congress is to bring people together in 32 countries with variety of views related to Congress party, rooted in democracy, freedom, equality, diversity, justice, and predominantly focus on Gandhian values.
Okay.
My childhood, since 1942, has been rooted in Gandhian ideas. I come from a poor family, OBC. My father had fourth grade education. And I believe India gave me good education for very little investment. I got my master's in physics in India.
Right.
For less than $10 tuition.
Okay.
So I am firm believer in the values that our founding fathers in India, including Ambedkar and others, emphasize. So all those who believe in those values come together. I go give talks at universities. I meet with congressmen, senators, speak in different forums, and many people
Yes. And
all over the world do the
Mr.
same thing
Pitroda,
at the Indian Overseas Congress.
I'd also like to understand from you, now Rahul Gandhi has made several visits to universities abroad, and he's also presented his idea of India, his idea of the Congress party, what the vision for the country needs to be. I just want to understand from you, in the past he has been severely criticized for the way he has presented India. His intention may have been very pure, but people have said that the way he has represented the country as though nothing is okay about India, that we are in some grave danger today, has not gone down well with people. Leaving the past behind, I want to understand from you, what do you think his future plans then should be as far as his tours abroad are concerned? Simply, I understand you will now again say, I'm not a member of the Congress, this is Sam Pitroda, but as
I am
Sam
a member of the
Pitroda...
Congress. I never said I am not a member. Wait a minute. I think you have a problem, lady.
Mr. Pitroda, you
I
just
never
said
said
that
I am
I
not a member of the
represent
Congress.
Sam Pitroda, not the Congress party. When I asked you a question about the Congress, therefore I'm clarifying. I want an answer from you
So I will tell
as
you
someone
what I
who's been a
speak for
mentor
Congress.
to several members of the Congress party.
I will say when I speak for myself, and I will also tell you when I speak for Congress. I will be very clear.
Okay.
So let's go back to your question. I think you should not label me in your own way without at least checking with me. I would appreciate.
My
if you stop
sincere
labeling.
apologies, sir, but if I can get an answer.
Thank you. So Rahul Gandhi, in his own way, presents his views. Sometimes people think it is against what somebody else would say about India.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in a free conversation, it is okay to criticize you and me. It is okay to talk about some issues that are not very pleasant. That choice has to be made at that point in time in a conversation, in a free flow of ideas.
Okay.
I don't think Rahul Gandhi has ever said anything that would bother me. It bothers somebody else. I understand that. I respect that. Okay. But his intention is not to undermine anybody. When you have a conversation with a moderator, you answer some questions. You can't please everybody all the time. I mean, in just this interview, somebody would say, why did I get a little upset? Somebody would say, oh, you shouldn't have said this. That's okay. We are all human beings. We make mistakes. We have emotions.
But
we react. It's
yes.
pretty healthy.
Yes.
So what Rahul Gandhi has been saying to me is okay.
Is his truth, though, right? That's his understanding
That's
of where
his
India
kind of saying
stands.
it.
And that's
That's
absolutely
his
okay.
style.
So if he
Yeah,
goes
I
on
think
foreign
it's
land
okay,
and he
it's
says
okay.
that the judiciary is under attack or democracy is under attack,
course
that's
it is.
his
Of course
understanding
it is.
entirely of India. But that
It is
needn't be
perfectly
the
okay.
truth.
No, it is a truth from somebody's perspective. It may not be truth from your perspective, which is okay, which is perfectly acceptable.
Right, absolutely.
When you have 21 court cases against you, or 24, when you are asked day in, day out to go to this court and that court, a person may think differently than you and me, who may have one court case or no court case. So it's okay. What's the
All
problem?
right. Unfortunately, Mr. Pitroda, that's all the time that we have. But I have to say it's been a very interesting conversation, even for me as a moderator.
Thank you.
I've never had to explain myself so many times in an interview before, but I really like the way you
Maybe I'm
handle
dumb.
some of those
Maybe
questions.
I'm dumb. No, maybe I'm dumb and I don't understand you.
No,
Okay?
absolutely not, sir. Absolutely not.
So it's
Once
possible.
again,
I
not the
accept that.
intention, not the intention. I'm going to clarify once again before this becomes another
No, but you
viral
see,
meme
whenever
in India.
moderator puts words on your behalf, that to me is not fair.
Absolutely, sir.
Moderator's job is to moderate.
Yes.
Moderator's job is not to really define you.
Hopefully, I've done a
define
decent
myself.
enough job, Mrs. Sam Pitroda. Thank you so much for joining us at the India
Thank you.
News Manch. We appreciate
you
you
all the
taking
best.
out your precious
Wish
time.
you all
Thank you
the
so
best.
much.
Thank you very much.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.